Good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan with Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. Let's go ahead and give you guys the update in regards to today's severe weather threat across the region. We do have a couple of updates for you guys. Number one being there is an expansion of the slight risk area all the way back up into the Thelma, Michigan, towards Mount Pleasant, all the way south towards Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Athens, and Youngstown areas. So it's a pretty large expansion here of the slight risk area. We are concerned today for all hazards possible. 2% tornado risk in green for most of the slight risk. There's a bullseye of a higher risk right now centered over Ohio and very far extreme southeast Michigan. So places like Detroit, Ann Arbor, Monroe, Adrian, Toledo, Columbus, uh, Cleveland, Youngstown, Akron, Athens. You guys are in that bullseye of 5% of a tornado risk. So a couple tornadoes possible throughout the day today in that 5%, and just a few, one or two expected outside that 5% risk in green areas. Otherwise, wind and hail are your main concerns here. We see the yellow areas of wind and hail, primarily the exact same areas. So all hazards are possible through the afternoon and evening today. Timing on this is still going to be roughly 12 p.m. in northern Indiana as well as southwest Michigan. That line will push eastward and develop further south with time, pushing eastward through Ohio as the afternoon goes on. So the overall synopsis, we have storms developing right here across northern Indiana and west Michigan at noon. And we go through the afternoon today. This is 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. And notice we have some nasty looking thunderstorms along this line here, especially down here in Ohio, closer to the Columbus area. We call them Tail and Charlie type of storms down here. These storms right here, have to watch those closely through Ohio. But overall, this line extends all the way up here into Michigan, all the way down here to central Ohio. So a pretty big line of storms here expected, but this will reach central Ohio roughly by 4 to 6 p.m. It'll exit the Michigan area roughly about 6 p.m. and it'll exit Ohio here roughly around 8 to 9 p.m. tonight. So the risk tonight starts about 12 p.m. in West Michigan and northern Indiana. It'll clear Michigan at about 6 or 7. It'll clear Ohio roughly around 9 p.m. All hazards are possible. We do have chasers who will be in the field today chasing. I'll be covering radar here. Our coverage primarily is going to be for Michigan today because that's where most of our chasers are. We do have a couple chasers going into Ohio, closer to northwest areas like Van Wert, Defiance areas on the state line. So we'll have updates from them as well. But our coverage today will be primarily for Michigan. We'll still go live here on the GLSCN page to cover these as they happen. Right now, everything is coming together. It looks to be supporting severe weather. We have cloud breaks. We have instability working in the region. Everything is on pace as expected. So with that being said, severe risk does continue today across Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. It is highest right now across southeast Michigan, as well as northwest and northern central Ohio. So be prepared if you guys live in those areas. So with that being said, if you guys got questions, now it's time to ask those. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off here and get ready for some coverage later on today. The live stream will begin roughly around noon, depending on how storms develop. How is the tornado outlook for Cleveland? The outlook for Cleveland right now, 4 to 6 p.m. All hazards are possible, including tornadoes. It's a lower chance today, but it's not a chance that I would ignore. These storms on the latest models do look pretty nasty coming into Cleveland there. So roughly 4 to 6 is your time frame. Just pay attention and heed all warnings that are issued. It's not a zero threat, but it's also not like a threat we're going to say, yeah, you guys need to cancel all your plans, do all that kind of stuff. No, just pay attention, heed all warnings, and you'll be okay. No problem, Renee. Pretty simple forecast today. All hazards are possible. 12 p.m. is your start time, clearing the states by roughly 6 to 9 p.m. Do you see them enhancing the risk? No, I do not see them expanding or enhancing the risk. I think the slight risk here is really well placed. I think the hazards here are in alignment. I think everything is in place. Yes, Pamela, the update here did expand the slight risk to encompass all of Lansing. If you saw the Michigan stream, I just did, but Lansing there is solidly now within that slight risk area right there in the center of your screen. No problem, Max. Alrighty. I'm going to hop off here and we'll get going here for our coverage later on, roughly about 12 noon. Does cloud cover increase the risk of severe weather or clear skies? Clear skies, usually we have sun that heats the atmosphere and that raises our surface instability, which is basically storm fuel. So more sun, the better, but that's not always the case with every setup. With this one, it is. All right. That's all I got to share with you guys. If you guys are just hopping on here or missed what I said, I'd highly suggest going back and watching about 4 or 5 minutes of it. Explains the threat pretty well. Otherwise, that's all I got for you guys. So overall, the risk did get expanded further to the west and further north, further east, should I say, and further north. Slight risk is in effect there for most all of southeast Michigan, most all of Ohio, as well as northeast Indiana. With that being said, a few more questions coming in here. Good morning, Jenny or Jeannie. I'm gonna call you Jenny or Gianni. I don't know how do you pronounce your name. I see you a lot in the streams here. I don't want to butcher it. Let me know how you pronounce it. Why did the threat for tornadoes decrease? Right now, it is not decreased unless you're in Michigan. Otherwise, the threat for tornadoes is more so highest off to the south and east through Ohio. Overall, I wouldn't say it decreased. It just kind of shifted a little bit. Genie in a bottle. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you should be good down there where you live at, Genie. Looks like the threat is shifted further to the east, so that's great news. White Pigeon is pretty cloudy right now. Yeah, it is, but also the real-time data is suggesting instability is already pushing up into the state. So the cloud cover is broken cloud cover. It's not full clouds. And it's also allowing for surface heating to take place, which is already occurring. So not too concerned for the clouds right now. All right. That's all I got to share with you guys. I'm going to hop off here, grab some breakfast, and mentally prepare for about 5 to 6 hours here of solid streaming. So with that being said, no, Alexis, not expecting Cleveland to keep clouds. You'll destabilize as expected. All right. I'm gonna hop off here. You guys stay safe. We'll be on here later on, closer about noon or so for our coverage.